At the end of the day, we have the same goal, and that's to bring a championship to Cleveland. And that's all that matters. I think, he's the owner of the team. I'm just one of the players. I'm one of the 15 guys. So I'm one of the lower guys on the totem pole. So I just do my job. I'm just here to work.
LeBron, he's just here to work, do his job. One of the lower guys on the totem pole, Stephen A. That was Saturday before Game 2. What did you make of his comments there?
Well, number one, I think he's lying. He was clearly joking and being facetious because he knows good and damn well he's not just another player. He's King James. He's the man in this city, in this town. And there's no question about it. And, for all of the things that Dan Gilbert did that were deemed so unfavorably, let's keep in mind that Cleveland has one of the largest payrolls in history, that this man has a payroll in excess of $105 to $115 million right now, and it's projected to be about the same, if not a little bit more, next year. Let's take into account that you have a GM in David Griffin that I think has done a good job. I mean, he can't find a way to beat the Warriors, but outside of that, he clearly has shown an ability to beat literally everybody else. Then you take into account the coach. That was LeBron James' preference. No, he did not get David Blatt fired, but he damn sure didn't keep him hired. And let's just leave it at that. And so you've got the coach that you want. You've got the owner cutting the checks. You've got people employed by the organization that you wanted there. You've got players on the roster like Kevin Love and others who are there because you wanted them there. In the past, the Mike Millers was there. That's because you wanted them there. James Jones is still there. That's because you wanted them there. And so when you look at it from that perspective, one would surmise that LeBron James should be a hell of a lot happier than he actually comes across. I think that he's happier, or happiest rather, when he's playing the games. I think that he knows the Cavaliers fans are phenomenal, but I get the impression that, he's not that happy. And I've been on the record quoting what I've heard from sources months ago and then again weeks ago when I was told that if LeBron indeed wins, he will have fulfilled his promise to the city of Cleveland and the northern Ohio area in terms of delivering a championship to the city for the first time since 1964. And as a result, he would be free to leave. And I can tell you for a fact that the Miami Heat believe they got a shot at getting him back in South Beach. If they don't get him, of course, they'll pursue Kevin Durant. Also, the Los Angeles Lakers, for some reason, believe they have a shot at him, perhaps because he bought a house out there. But in the end, the thought process that involved him having to win first, Skip, before he left, I'm just speculating. I've heard nothing about this. Nobody has told me this at all. But I'm of the mindset that it's even possible that LeBron could leave even if he loses. Yep. The manner in which they're going out, the way that they're playing against Golden State, the daunting task that lies ahead, whereas if he doesn't leave, but he stays in Cleveland, it's going to be that much more difficult for him to capture a championship. The desire for Kyrie Irving to have his own team, to be the man again, which he was before LeBron arrived, all of those things could potentially factor into the equation. I'm not saying I know specifically anything, because I do not. But what I will tell you is I'm not ruling anything out right now, because if the Cleveland Cavaliers don't win the championship this year, here is the one guarantee that I am willing to make. Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, and LeBron James together will be no more. Somebody's going to be gone. I don't know who. Yep. But if the Cleveland Cavaliers get smoked in these NBA Finals the way that they're getting smoked thus far, this big three will not remain together. Change is coming to Cleveland. Yep. And whether or not it's LeBron, I don't know, but I'm not ruling it out.
I got it. I'm going to attempt not to pile on LeBron James today, because I think he has enough problems without us heaping problems upon problems. It's just that this kind of constant refrain from LeBron, don't blame me, don't look at I just work here, I'm just one of the cogs in the system. It's just insultingly disingenuous, but it's not anything new from LeBron. It's old. So I did like one thing he said. He did go home to coexist with an owner who had burned the bridge to the ground with LeBron James by insulting him publicly, as you recall, on the night of the decision. But he went home to peacefully coexist with that owner. Period. End of story. Just coexist. And I like the one thing that rang true to me that LeBron said, as we just saw, was that we share one goal. That's to win. That's all they got. Those two share one goal. And you know that owner, Stephen A. I don't know him personally, but I've observed him enough and talked to enough people about him. He is a madman driven to win at any price, as you point out with their payroll. And listen, this game tomorrow night in that building is a big, big deal for everybody in that franchise. Because if they lose, and I'm going to remind everybody, the last time Golden State visited that building back in the regular season, once again, Cleveland was not competitive. They got annihilated and humiliated. And remember Steph's comment, still smelled the champagne in the locker room.
January
really?
18th.
Ooh.
January 18th.
You got it. You
here.
were there. You were there. So if we have any semblance of a repeat of January 18th tomorrow night, and it goes 0-3, and it looks like Cleveland can't even compete with this team, well, I'm on record. If they lose tomorrow night, they're going to lose Friday night, and it's going to be a sweep. Because I can't even imagine.
So am I.
Okay, so I'm with you. So you tell me, if they get swept on Friday night, is all hell not going to break loose within that organization?
Potentially, Skip, no question. But I think it's very, very important to draw a distinction between losing because they're better and losing because you've given up on one another. There's finger pointing all over the place. There's the apparent dissension amongst the ranks. They cannot go into the offseason that way. If Kyrie comes out and balls, if LeBron comes out and balls, if the rest of the team does the best that it could, but Golden State is making shots all over the place, and they just prove to be a superior team, that is one thing. To have your heart figuratively snatched out of your chest to the point where there ain't a damn thing on the left side of your chest but a tattoo, that's a problem. And that is what can't be overcome. That is what will shred this franchise as we know it right now. And let's be clear. Let's be clear about something here. I am no fan of Dan Gilbert. I mean, I've gotten past the statement. I mean, it still stings. But let's give the man credit where it's due. As an owner, he's done his job. He's given them the checkbook. And he hasn't fought them. What is it that you need? And he has given it to them. David Griffin, the general manager, is he flawless? No. Last year he should have had a better situation at the backup point spot. No doubt about it. But this man has made move after move after move. With JR, with Iman Shumpert, with Timothy Mozgov, a Channing Frye, seemed to be a damn good pickup, etc. The man, and then you moved out Wiggins to get Kevin Love. Because purportedly that was what LeBron wanted. David Griffin, by and large, has done his job. And so when you look at it now, and then he fired David Blatt. And Tyronn Lue is in there. And you've got continuity. It's not enough because it would have been nice if Tyronn Lue was coaching last year or whatever, because now you're looking at David Blatt and you're saying, hey, they could have done this with David Blatt. Plus, they would have had the level of continuity. And maybe it wasn't a bad idea to play big and physical and try to beat Golden State that way as opposed to trying to play their game. But Tyronn Lue would only get better. He'll only get better, and eventually he'll be fine. But the point is, all the pieces appear to be in place to eradicate the excuses on the part of the players. And so as a result, if you're LeBron, whether it's you not being happy, wishing you were somewhere else, or wishing you were playing with someone else, and thereby working in the offseason, instead of you leaving, getting other dudes to come here and getting them to making a move to bring Chris Paul to Cleveland, making a move to bring Melo to Cleveland, or whatever the case may be. Because I'm here to tell you something right now. Here's what I promise you. What we saw in Game 2, we would not have seen if Chris Paul or Melo was on the squad. I mean, they're going to sit up there and be like, we ain't going out like this.
No.
That I can tell you.
So I said going into the finals, this time, no excuses. And
None.
if in fact LeBron James, the great LeBron James, doesn't show up and show out tomorrow night, he's going to have to start taking a large share of the public blame for this, because he's not just one of the lower guys on the totem pole.
Well, I'm going to deviate a little bit from you and Magic in this regard. Sure, LeBron has to play better. We understand that. You know how I feel about him. You know I desperately wish he could win this championship, even though I picked him not to win because I just think Golden State the better team. And for once, I didn't go with my emotions in the finals. I picked with my head.
Yep.
But here's the deal. Here's the deal. I think Skip Bayless, are you ready for this? And don't fall out your chair. I think you're letting him off the hook. Let me tell you something. It's not enough.
Sorry. Get the seatbelt.
I think you're falling off your chair. I think you're letting him off the hook. Skip Bayless, it is not, to me, you're holding him accountable for his play. I am holding him accountable for his leadership. He has religiously and repeatedly proclaimed himself to be the leader of this team. He has religiously said, my team, my guys, my job to lead. Well, why are they quitting? Why did they quit on each other? Why did they quit on him? Why did they quit in Game 2 of an NBA Finals with millions upon millions of people watching? That's on the leader.
Yeah, no.
And that's what I'm looking for LeBron to step up and do.
Remember what I
be
said.
That leader.
I opened my remarks just a minute ago by saying I'm not going to pile on today because he has enough problems. But, hey, Thursday morning, if I don't see anything from LeBron James on Wednesday night.
Well, I'm holding. I have no doubt LeBron is going to show up as an individual and play. What I'm looking for is his leadership.
I agree.
That's what I'm looking for.
So a lot more writing on this Game 3 that'll be on ABC than just a win for the Cleveland Cavaliers. We got another head-to-head matchup going on. Did you hear about this one? Jim Harbaugh versus Nick Saban taking verbal jabs at each other in the media. Whose side are Skip and Stephen A on? We'll fill you in on the latest, what they're saying now, and we'll react.